You can have the cleanest offer in the world and a message that lands every single time. But if nobody knows you exist, you are a secret, not a business. Most of us get completely paralyzed by the word visibility because we think it means dancing on the camera, filming our morning coffee, or acting like a 20-something influencer. Today, we're throwing out the performative social media noise and building a way to get known by the right people on your terms. Let's get started. Welcome to the Midlife Business Academy. I'm Lori Lyons, marketing strategist, business coach, and accidental techie. After years of running a successful website design agency, I'm now building the business of my dreams and helping other midlife entrepreneurs do the same. From strategy to marketing to mindset, we covered what really matters when you're growing a business that fits your life. Let's get started. I'm Lori Lyons, and welcome to the Midlife Business Academy. If you've ever felt like your business is running your life instead of supporting it, you're in the right place. Around here, I believe a dream business isn't measured by its size. It's measured by the freedom and life it makes possible. So we're 5 episodes into the Dream Business Blueprint series. You've got your business model figured out. You've got your point of view, the philosophy your business is built on. You've got a message that actually makes sense to someone hearing it for the first time. And today, we're going into that piece that probably trips more of us up than just about anything else on the list: visibility. It's the kind of hot business word right now. It's trending. Everybody wants to be visible. Everybody's telling you that you need it. But what does it really mean? Because be more visible isn't a strategy. It's a feeling. It's thing. And I want to give you something more useful to take away today than just having a thing. So let's actually define it. Visibility means the right people can consistently find evidence that you exist. They find evidence of what you believe and what problems you solve. That's it. That's the whole definition. And honestly, I'd rather we didn't even use the word visibility for the whole rest of the episode. It's that trendy. And it's a little cold. It's kind of a little marketing speak, if you will. But let's call it what it really is: being known. I read a really good book by one of my favorite marketing authors, Mark Schaefer, called Known. That was the name of it. If you haven't read it, go read it because it's very, 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 very good. Because being known is really the goal here, not visibility just for visibility's sake. And we'll talk about that in a little bit more. Boy, well, I get on my soapbox there. But it's being known by the right people for the right thing. And some of you just felt your stomach drop a little bit when I said that. And that's okay, because that's exactly why we're talking about it. When I ran my website design agency, I was out there a lot. When I sold jewelry, I was out there a lot. I wasn't visible, though, in a way that actually mattered to the people that mattered, in that they weren't my ideal clients. They, from my website design perspective, they didn't control their own marketing. From a jewelry perspective, everybody was trying to sell their own stuff. So it really wasn't my ideal client. And then I built a beautiful, polished, front and center website for other people all day long. I made other people's businesses look established, incredible, and easy to find. And I was in the room at every client meeting, every launch, and every project. I was busy. I was active. And we all know what busy, busy, busy means. And there was plenty of activity that you could point to. But none of that activity was actually about me. My own visibility strategy, it was a logo. And that was it. A logo and maybe a website that nobody was really going to. And that was the trap. I was trying to be visible. I was trying to be visible for visibility's sake. And that isn't really visibility. Go figure that one out. Being busy and out there is not the same as being known. and I was surrounded by activity, and I was still invisible as the person behind it. I told myself I was busy doing the work to market the work. I'd chuckle and I'd say, cobbler shoes here, I'll get my stuff done someday. And sometimes that was even true. But underneath that, and if I'm really being honest, I was putting myself out there, my face, my opinions. And a lot of times it was, in fact, I know it felt riskier than doing my client's business because it was personal. It's about me. If their website flopped, that was their business. If mine flopped, that was on me. So I hid behind the work, and the work was good. But good work you're hiding doesn't pay your bills. And I learned that the slow, expensive way, riding the referral wave instead of building something I could actually count on month to month. And it took me a long time to realize this. Visibility isn't the reward you get after you've built a business, it's part of how you build one. Now, before we look at how to get known without acting like an influencer, hit that subscribe button if you want real, honest business strategies delivered every single week. Make sure you turn on notifications so you catch every episode in this 10-part series. Click on it down below. All right, let me explain why visibility isn't vanity. It's opportunity. Because somewhere along the way, a lot of us bought into that field of dreams version of business. I say that to my clients all the time. It's not field of dreams. You can't just build it and they will come. You do the work quietly, behind the scenes, and somehow the right people will find you. That's a movie. It's not a business strategy. Visibility is not a business strategy. Nobody's going to stumble into your business by accident and hire you. You have to tell people that you exist. And I think a lot of us grew up believing the work should speak for itself. That talking about yourself and promoting yourself was braggy and maybe a little distasteful. Something people did when they had more confidence than substance. But take away the discomfort and look at what visibility actually does. It puts an opportunity in front of somebody who needed exactly what you offer, and they didn't know you were out there. People can't hire you if they don't know you exist. Not because your work isn't good enough, not because your message isn't clear, but because you were never in the room. So let's talk about being in the room. But before I get into some specific channels, I want to clear something up here because this is where a lot of my clients stop before they even start. Visibility doesn't mean you're an influencer. It doesn't mean you're taking daily selfie videos or doing TikTok dances or building a personal brand around your morning coffee routine. If that's genuinely you, then go for it. Have fun with it. But if that picture makes you want to close your laptop and do something fun like your taxes, that's not the only way that you can be visible. Visibility just means the right people can consistently find evidence that you exist, what you believe, and what you help with, what you work with people on. Visibility just means the right people can consistently find you. It means there's evidence that you exist. It says what you believe, and it talks about how you serve people and the problems that you solve. How loud or how public or how performative you want to be, that's entirely up to you and what you're comfortable with. And some of you are going to build visibility through one long thing you pour yourself into, like I do with my podcast. Some of you are going to build it quietly, one relationship and one referral conversation at a time. Both count and both are equally legitimate. Not one is more legitimate than the other. It's what you're comfortable with. The goal isn't to become someone you're not in front of an audience. The goal is to stop being invisible to people who are looking for exactly what you have to offer. So let's start with showing up consistently because this quietly stalls more visibility efforts than any strategy mistake ever will. Consistency beats intensity every single time. I'd rather you show up in one place a little imperfectly every single week than disappear for 2 months and come back with something beautifully produced, edited perfectly. The soundtrack is cinematic, the images, the whole bit. The market doesn't know you yet. Trust gets built by showing up again and again, not by one great post. Pick the one channel you can actually sustain for the next year without hating your life. Not the trendiest one, not the one your friend swears by, the one you'll still be doing after month 8, after that initial excitement has worn off and it's just become a part of how you run your business. Pick one you actually want to work with, one you've already spent time with, and use it to show your work and what you believe consistently, not perfectly. Again, I'm not going to tell you you need to be on every platform, posting daily, chasing an algorithm that changes, God knows, every 6 weeks or 6 hours. That's the way to burnout, not visibility. And I want to be clear of what social media's job really is, at least for most of us. If you're selling a physical product at scale, that's a different game with different numbers. But for most of us, we're coaches, consultants, service providers. Social media isn't there to move product directly. It's a big mistake a lot of people make. Its job is to give a potential client a taste of who you are. They're not deciding whether to buy. They're deciding, do I want to know more about this person? Does this sound like someone I'd want to do business with? Do we talk the same language? Does it seem like they could actually solve my problem? That's the whole job. It's not to go viral. And okay, let's talk about viral for a second, because in truth, viral videos don't grow and don't drive business. They drive temporary followers. I used to be in a business group that we met every week, and we had a social media person. And every meeting, that social media person would talk about this one client that she got to go viral and, how many numbers, what were the views, what were the shares. And every time, okay, this was probably a little snarky on my part, but every time I would say, so what was the return on investment on that post? How much money did she make off of that post? And she never had an answer, not once. And it just kind of got to be a game because I really wanted to know at the time, this was several years ago, if viral was the goal and viral was making people money, great. But I have very rarely have I heard of somebody that's gotten 1 million views and made money and sold product. It's just noise. Your goal is not to be internet famous, but to be known by your potential clients. All right. So the next way you can be visible, networking, or I'm going to call it connecting. It's a little different twist on it because I think when I say networking, half of you want to change the subject. Networking, the way most people picture it, is a room full of strangers, a stack of business cards, small talk. It's not the only version. And honestly, it's not even a particularly effective one for a lot of us. But here's a small shift that I'm going to give you that changes this for a lot of my clients. Don't call it networking, call it connecting. I'm going networking sounds like a chore. I'm going connecting sounds like something fun and something you'd actually want to do. And when you walk into that room or that event or that meetup or whatever it is, let go of the pressure to work the room. You don't need to meet everyone, nor do you want to. Walk in with one goal: to meet 3 really good people you're genuinely interested in, get to know further. That's it. 3 real conversations beat 50 business cards you'll never look at again. I have a friend of mine who has a podcast called Meet Cool People. I love that. He talks about, I want to go meet cool people. That's what he does. That's how he networks. I want to meet three cool people this week. I want to meet three cool people at my business function. I want to meet, whatever his goal is, but it's to meet cool people. And don't you think that that's really blasted his business wide open? Absolutely. Which conveniently takes us into the next one. And I'm going to step on my soapbox for a minute. Not that you guys have never heard me step on my soapbox, but I want to talk about that validation junkie. That person who goes around the room taking a selfie with everybody in the room and then leaves the event. Visibility and taking a bunch of selfies at an event and posting them with, oh, look how visible I am and look at all the people I'm connecting with. That's not connecting. That's performing. The actual visibility happens in the conversation itself, not in the photo of it. Nobody's ever hired somebody because of a good event selfie. They hired them because of what got said later over coffee or in that follow-up text conversation later in the week. Think about that for a second. Who do you know that's a validation junkie? All right. So now that we're on the topic of networking and connecting and building relationships, let's talk about relationships because this is what you want your connecting to build to is relationships. And I really want to talk about it for just a second because it kind of deserves its own section or segment. It's the most underrated visibility channel that we have. Every referral you've ever gotten came out of a relationship, not a marketing campaign. Every client who's told you, I've been following you for a while before I finally reached out. That following happened inside of a relationship, even a one-sided one that was built over time because you were consistent and you showed up even though you weren't perfect. So ask yourself, who already knows you? Who already likes you? Who already trusts you? And when was the last time they actually heard what you're working on right now? Not a pitch. Yeah, just a little update. Hey, this is what I'm working on right now. That can be a really cool reach out. People can't refer you to something that they don't know what you're doing. So it can be as simple as a text to a past client. Hey, just wanted you to know I opened up a few coaching spots this month. Or a quick call to a friend from somebody you knew from a previous industry. I'm doing something different now, and I think you might know someone who could use it. That's it. That's the whole ask. So if social media is the front porch, email is the living room. It's where the sofas are. It's where the conversation actually happens. I had a client once who really resisted sending emails. She didn't want to be a bother to her people. So I asked her, being the smart aleck that I am, so do you have emails that bother you? She said, yeah. I said, okay. What do you do about those? She said, I unsubscribe. Okay, fair enough. So do you have emails you actually want to open and want to read? And she said, oh, yeah, lots of them. I said, are those a bother? And she said, no. Oh, not really. I want to read them. I enjoy them, or I learned something, or I'm really interested in them. Okay, I rest my case. You're not going to bother the right people. You're going to either be an email they enjoy or an email they unsubscribe from. And either way, that's fine. And by enjoy, I mean they either get content or they appreciate your sense, whatever. Whatever they do to open the email and they keep subscribing, they keep reading your stuff, that's fine. Or they unsubscribe. Both are equally fine and equally effective and work at building a really good email list. And that's how it's supposed to work. Now, I'll tell you there's also a caveat to that because I lived this recently, actually this week. I clicked one of those Facebook post that I was interested in. And I did the comment, whatever the word was I had to comment. And, I gave them my email address because I was really genuinely interested in what they were offering. And then they started sending me emails. Then they started sending more emails. It was to the point where they were sending me 2 emails an hour. I was bothered. I unsubscribed within a day. And at that point, I'd already had 30 emails within the space of 15 hours. Don't be them. Showing up doesn't mean flooding the inbox. It means showing up often enough to stay known, keep your name top of mind, but not so often that you become the reason somebody gets unsubscribed. Don't be a bother. Because your email list is the one piece of visibility that you actually own. I've said this many, many, many times. Social media is rented real estate. An email list you own, and nobody can take that away from you. An algorithm can't change it or take it away overnight. And it's also your highest trust channel because someone gave you permission to land directly in their email and their inbox. Don't waste that by going quiet for months and only showing up when you're selling something. I have, somebody that I'm on their list and I do like them and I do follow them. But the only thing I can say is they only show up in my inbox when they are selling something. Now, I happen to like what they're selling. I happen to like the product, and I'm kind of, I kind of watch and follow what they do to see what they're offering, and I follow them. Um, but I will notice that there's a couple months where they don't email me, and then all of a sudden it's there. It's like, oh, hey, yeah, I haven't heard from them in a month. So be consistent about it. You can. There's a lot of things that you can do to be consistent with your email. I mentioned earlier about podcasting, and I'm probably a little biased, but long form content like a podcast does something a quick post can't do or an email can't do. It puts you right in somebody's ear. I mean, you're literally in their head if they're listening to you on audio. It lets them spend time with you week after week until they feel like they really know you before they ever get on a call with you. That's why I do my podcast. I love my podcast. I love doing this. Do I occasionally think, okay, this is getting a little tiring week because I've done this now. This is episode 346, 346 weeks of doing a podcast. So yeah, it does get a little tiring sometimes. And actually I'm recording this one right now with COVID at 10:15 p.m. because I need to get this done. And I didn't do it earlier because I had very little voice. So, it puts a commitment, it does, but when you enjoy doing something, then it doesn't matter. You get it done. But you don't need a podcast to be visible. But if your work benefits from going deep with things, and most coaching and service-based businesses can go deep, then some form of long form content, whether it's a podcast. One of my best friends is a YouTuber. She does YouTube videos. Newsletters are a great way to go deeper, but it's going to do more for you over time than 100 quick, Facebook or Instagram posts ever will do because it's long form. All right. So here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to look back over that list that I just gave you. Show up consistently, networking, relationships, social media, email, podcasting. And I want you to be honest about one thing. Which one of these are you avoiding because it makes you feel uncomfortable? That's usually the answer. It's not the trendiest channel. It's the one you've been steering around, avoiding. So put one small, doable action inside that channel this week. It could be a reintroducing yourself to your email list. It could be an Instagram post that does a little bit more than show you having coffee. Share a piece of content. Share your win this week. What was a client win this week? Small and done beats ambitious and abandoned. Ooh, that's a writer downer. That's a quote. All right. So this week's piece of the Dream Business Blueprint is the visibility assessment, and I want you I want to give a preview of it right here because it opens with a question I want you to ask yourself. Are enough of the right people consistently seeing your expertise? Because that's the whole key to visibility. So in the workbook, I ask you to rate yourself 1 to 10, just like all the worksheets, on 5 things: how consistently you show up, whether the right people actually know what you do, whether your visibility feels intentional or accidental, whether people regularly discover your business, and whether you stay top of mind with the audience you already have. Add it up, and you'll have your blueprint score out of 50. But here's the one question from the workbook that I want to leave you with you right now before you go to the workbook. If you disappeared from your marketing for the next 90 days, would anyone notice? Think about that for a second. And that's not to scare you, but it's to show you where you stand. Visibility isn't about becoming famous. It's about becoming known by the people who actually need what you offer. Visibility isn't vanity. It's opportunity. And the version of it that works for you doesn't have to look like everybody else's, because businesses can't hire you if they don't know you exist. So grab the visibility assessment in the show notes and find out exactly where you stand. And if you want help figuring out which visibility channel actually fits your business and your personality, that's exactly what we can work through in a dream business design session. Go to talkwithlori.com and let's see if we're a right fit. So until next week, because it's never too late to build the business of your dreams. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me on the Midlife Business Academy. If today's episode made you think, or made you feel seen, share it with a fellow business owner who could use it too. When you're ready for more support, you'll find the link to book your Profitable Path Blueprint call in the show notes. I'll be back next week with more insight and strategy to help you build a business that truly fits your life and one of your dreams. We'll see you next time on the Midlife Business Academy.